All right, BB, what's up, man? He says, "Hey guys, a better example for last weekend's question: how Google treat pages that are not related topically to the site. Say you are a site about marketing. The silo is about software. Let's say all the marketing software goes here, but what if we add non-marketing software pages to the silo, to that silo, like employment software or betting software, etc.? Should a new silo be opened to non-related marketing software? No, in a case like that, BB, I would have subcategories. So I would use a complex silo structure for that type of a site, because software would be the parent category, the top level category. But then you would create subcategories for the different types of software, marketing software being a subcategory. What was some of the other ones? Employment software being another subcategory, and then betting software or investing software, right? Forex software, like there's a, productivity software, like every one of those could be subcategories. And then you would add supporting articles, which could be reviews of those types of different softwares in their appropriate subcategory. So in a situation like what you're describing this time, which you provided more context this time than you usually do, so thank you for that, by the way, then yeah, I would use a complex silo structure for something like that, and I would add subcategories and then appropriately place the articles and supporting articles and such within the correct subcategories. That is something that you could do. Comments?
Yeah, treat it as a directory for marketing. And how would you build that directory then for marketing related categories and subcategories, and maybe some not so specific categories that do relate to marketing, but not in a direct manner? You could totally do that. Just be careful how far in the weeds you go, because you could end up somewhere totally not relevant to whatever it is that you're doing. And then in that case, it's not as if you'd be penalized or anything. It's just that you're not going to get any, well, you shouldn't get any action, because the AI will know that there's absolutely no relationship between that uncategorized or irrelevant category and everything else that you're doing. With the caveat that if you're pushing enough power, it will rank. It just takes monster power to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, that's I prefer using simple silos as much as possible. Mm-hmm. But in the situation that you're describing here, that's perfect for a complex silo. And you can push a shit ton of power with the complex silo, guys. If you know how to set up your internal linking correctly, complex silos can push a ton of power to the top level keyword. So again, you got to map that out before ever starting a complex silo site. Spend some time mapping it out, like not just the immediate need, but your future needs as well, because that's part of the problem with the complex silo structure. Is it's real easy to get started and think that you have an idea of what you want your silo structures to look like when you're starting off and you have, a finite or a limited amount of content and ideas. But as the project grows, you're probably going to figure like, oh shit, I should have figured it. I should have structured the site in this way instead. And that's part of the problem with complex silo structures, is they're complex, just like the name, just like that's why it's in the name, excuse me. But if you do it correctly, if you map it out right, then you can, it's just amazing how much power you can push with those. But again, it's like, I remember that's part of the reason I don't like to do those anymore at all, is because I would spend literally hours upon hours, a day or two on just mapping out the site before starting the build. And even then, even after doing all of that mapping work and trying to decide on how I was going to structure the site, a lot of the times at some point in the future, I would end up kicking myself for structuring it that way, because I should have done something else. You know what I mean? So I prefer not to do that if needed. But if so, if that's the route that you're going to go, spend some time on the front end. You'll be glad that you did, and you can push a lot of power that way for sure.
Well, if you're building a directory, there's complexity in building a directory to start with. So try to keep it simple, and don't spend hours trying to map out the site. Just get to working on it and try to work it out conceptually as you go. You're still going to run into problems and having to 301 and having to redo your URL structure. but that's a lot better, man.